to
What's this called?
dig out. You know, I do a show called.
Is this like an emergency meeting?
Yeah, for sure. Whatever it's called.
No, I usually do a
This is
show.
the horror room.
Whenever I do an Access Vegas where we do like a bunch of shit, I usually do like a slow paced video called Decompression. So this is decompression as far as I'm concerned.
Whoa.
We're just gonna shoot the shit.
Channel is this
All right,
We're
so
shooting the shit.
it's gonna be on everybody's
on everybody's channel. So
Decompression is for everyone.
All right, let's
Yeah.
start off with some big ones here. You already answered the steroid thing when we were on the other show. The crazy stuff you were saying on Bradley's
Oh, yeah, it's
podcast about 5,000. Was it 5,000 MIGs a
no,
trend?
it was 3,500, but it is decreased lower because I'm not counting 2-3 days a week where I'm puking too hard to poke.
So you can't
So,
poke.
so I think it was around
Because you're
3,300.
weak, you're just weakened by all of it. Do you have to go through when you like are on your downswing? Are you like just like physically weakened?
Well, when you take that much, like for 100 milligrams a week, you can turn into a man, transgender.
Yeah.
I'm at 3,000, so my jawline's like ripping out. I can never grow a beard. It's coming out. Hair started becoming like really aggressive, and I could never fight before. And then my punch actually had pop to it.
So my question is, how far that let's call that a 10, and then a guy on nothing is at a 0. How far do you think guys should go in male improvement to, like, do you think super physiological levels?
Oh, I 100% hate platforming this, but if you're depressed, the number
Get on
one,
testosterone.
Number
Thank
one
you.
correlating
Get on
factor,
testosterone.
The number one
Yes.
correlating factor to success is testosterone.
Yep.
And the only thing that beats it is don't take test, take Adderall. That's what I do.
Like Adderall.
Yeah, because test will make you so horny. It's not like puberty. It's worse. Just a little bit, like TRT will make you so horny. You will never be a fucking millionaire because you'll have women you're fucking. But if you're a loser,
You don't
it's
have
like-
anything else to do. You won't think about
Yeah.
anything else.
oh, dude,
Yeah.
ask anyone on TRT. It's like they can fuck a girl twice in one day and they still masturbate twice. And if you think about how horny that is, that has to take away 5 hours out of your business.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
retarded.
Yeah.
So
So
it's just logistics.
No, yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. What if your job is f***ing? Like, what if you're
What if
Sterling
you're Sterling
Cooper?
Cooper?
You better take a whole lot of
I like
testosterone.
yourself like so I started doing TRT in January when he convinced me to do it. Right?
Recently.
So I just started on and I'm 55, right?
look
So
great.
I was 54 when I started.
You look fucking great.
Thank you. So
And in person, it's you guys in person are jacked, but on camera, you guys are jacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, well, you know, it's funny. Whenever I do my show in my studio up in Reno, you only see me from the top up, right? I go on Fresh and Fit, or I go on our show. I have like a tank because it's hot as out here right now. And I come out and the people are like, "Whoa, Swallow Tomasi! It must be the TRT." Like, no, dude, you don't just take TRT and muscles just like magically sprout out of your arms.
But
You have to go and work. You have to actually do something to get them.
But-
You have to get mad at your
if you're-
training partner when every time he adds 10 pounds to your lift.
but if you're an ectomorph skinny, you don't work out, you're just eating. Test is it's proven that you can gain 15 to 20
Yeah.
sitting on your ass.
Well, it's also water
That's
weight
cheap.
though.
But you
It's
can do
also
it. But
water
you can
weight.
do it once. Like
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, like the next year you do it, you don't get another
Yeah.
15 to
TRT
20.
is not steroids, right?
Yeah, but well, it is a steroid, but like
Well, it
it's,
is because
testosterone.
if you drink alcohol, nothing changes. It doesn't bleed down. You're on synthetic testosterone.
Yeah.
So you can drink and still have protein synthesis elevated. So it's very cheating.
Yeah.
It's huge. Look
It's
at the
that-
grip strength difference.
Yeah.
You grab someone in the club, you're gonna fight them. On TRT, that grip strength is way
It's
different.
ridiculous.
I
bro.
was-
The
when-
pull-ups I
when
can
he
do
was
now.
when he was telling me, try it, the colors in your world will change. You're
He's
right.
the
You're
dealer.
fucking right. Like after 12 weeks.
Yeah,
you're
I was 38. I had a insanely hot girlfriend, and I didn't want to have sex with her. I was just like tired. I was started getting a gut. Arms wouldn't get any bigger, but my waist kept getting bigger. I started taking TRT. Arms got bigger, waist got smaller. That's the best way. And then the colors were brighter, and it was just like one of these things where the girl, you just imagine it's like a Friday night and you're playing a game, you're like enjoying yourself, having a good time, and a girl texts you like, "Hey, come over," and she's 20 minutes away, and you're like, or you just off. You're on TRT. It's like
Be there
video game
by.
down, like be there at 5.
Yeah.
That thing switched for me when I did that, and then also with the business, like the
It's
motivation.
gold time. On TRT, business is gold
All
time.
the time.
Yeah.
The miss it, like always. I do 11 hours of content per week for my company, and never want to miss it. Always want to do, like, there's never a time where I'm going to talk on the microphone. I'm like, I got to do this ever. Do 3 hours with my clients. Always.
I got a question for you guys. So, like right now, for me, like when I started doing it, it says you said it makes effort feel good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like I want like
It makes the pain feel
helps,
good.
It also helps that I move to a place that's like
It makes
walking distance.
It
from
makes
my
the
gym,
resistance
right?
feel good.
And
Yeah.
I
A
be
challenge is
there.
arousing on tier
Do
T.
Yeah.
you think to be successful as an influence in what we do, like what you do, everything? Do you think you have to be enhanced in some way?
No. What do you think?
100% disagree.
You think
Why?
so?
Why do you have? Okay, so
I've never.
I agree with you. I think you do have to.
I
in
think
some
you
ways.
have to.
You don't have to be like a fucking
No, I think you
cocaine
have.
bear. You have to be
can't-
like.
it can't
you
be.
know.
Don't have to be Zerka, but you have to be on a level above average.
I mean, there's just too many Jeff Bezos when he's earlier, or
But
Warren
is that
Buffett's.
luck, or is it just
No,
like
because
one-hit
they're
wonders?
really fucking smart. There's too many.
No,
there's too many.
they're he's cognitively enhanced since a young age. They
Who?
take like modafinil, Adderall. They take
I don't-
all those guys.
I don't
And
know.
by that, I don't mean like TRT or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it could
just
be-
like-
Oh, you mean some kind of
it could be
enhancement?
Yeah, some
modafinil,
kind of-
it
yeah.
could be
Maybe.
Adderall, it could
Biohacking.
be whatever.
Check it out.
Well, like nootropics.
When
right?
God gave me a
real
new,
nootropics.
yeah, real nootropics. But when God gave me a new life, I was like, I prayed to go viral. It worked. I'll do the rest. I don't want to ask for shit. I can't do drugs. I can't do alcohol. Took me a while. Cold turkey, everything stopped. And then when all my friends shot up to the top of Twitch, I went to these parties, started getting the real information. The top 1,000 highest paid millionaires on Twitch were all not even taking. I take Adderall and I'm sensitive. Abusing the fuck out of it. Greek God X lost 300 pounds on Adderall. When I'm like, wait a minute, I thought bodybuilders take the juice, gamers and stuff, all the highest paid, top 1,000 accounts, fitness industry, all on gear, natural industry, all on gear. Every industry I go to, humans cheating are at the top, and I hate platforming it because they all go, well, you're telling me to take stuff. I'm not telling you to take stuff. I'm telling you, everyone who's whooping your ass
Yeah.
has that evil
That
in
I-
them, that
that
they
I
want
agree
that
with you, yeah.
edge.
They have to be enhanced in some way, even if it's just a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Liver King.
Well, exactly.
Like
Yeah,
Liver
I mean,
King.
who the didn't know he was on. but so
Yeah, but the thing is,
No,
he's
if
still.
you didn't know Liver King was on gear, you deserve to get scammed.
No, but
Yeah, seriously.
my point is like the fact that he still got rich. What does that say? What is Michael Hearn still saying?
It means
he
it
still
doesn't
got
matter.
rich.
It doesn't matter
Thank
if you're
you.
on
It doesn't
here.
matter. Well, no, but hold
But
on,
you need it to get
No,
there.
no, but the point what you said is the real point. It doesn't matter. So just think about Jordan Belfort. 15 months in federal prison. He gets out. He's richer. Everyone wants him as a sales consultant. Caitlyn Jenner kills someone, runs him into like drunk driver, runs into a second person, woman of the year 4 months later. President of the United States fucks a porn star while his wife is pregnant, and he's elected president right afterwards.
O.J. Simpson.
No one. Yeah, OJ Simpson.
OJ,
Dude,
yeah.
we go to parties here. OJ's here in Vegas. We go to parties wherever he is. White women, blonde white women surrounding
exactly like Nicole Brown.
everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
what-
Women love murderers.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the thing is, nobody pays for anything.
That's right.
That's really the point. And so the idea, like,
That's because of status, right?
yeah, I agree. So status will trump it because, like, think about anything that, like, what Logan Paul did with the whole suicide thing in Japan. And he comes and does that. He does one fight with KSI. Nobody cares anymore. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to matter. And then the thing is, we can say this, like, if Andrew Tate, when he gets, he hopefully exonerated after that whole thing happens, it doesn't make any difference that he was charged with all these things. Everyone will want him on their show.
Yep.
You see Pierce Morgan, hardcore leftist is like standing up for Andrew Tate. Why? Because status is status is status. Status trumps everything, bro. And that's the other thing. Like,
Well, that's like the whole thing with with Bill Cosby, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody cared for how many years?
Yeah.
And then now that the case is
Bro,
over, they still don't care.
Diane Sawyer, he's in there talking about using Spanish fly on girls. And no one cared. You're exactly right. This generation, you can get away with saying anything and do, like, again, dude, I just watched Nick Fuentes explain to a bunch of African-American women that they're dumber than him. And they all said, thank you, Nick Fuentes. They were saying, thank you. They were saying thank you to him. Like, nobody cares about anything now. Like, that's the issue.
That's really what it is. It comes down to
Well,
nothing.
I was gonna say, how do we define status? Because I was thinking about, I'm like, if you want to be successful, just define the fucking term you're using every day. Is it status means a populist?
No.
Like, if you think about it, Andrew Tate's populist message is what protects him. Is status a populist?
That's part of his brand, though. That's
Because a
branding.
serial killer like what's his
Richard
name?
Ramirez.
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Richard
He has the girls were trying to protect him. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
Richard Ramirez, they were actually throwing panties at him.
Oh,
while he was-
yeah.
Status
The rock
means
star.
you have to be a populist in the market of what
So,
I guess the norm,
so
right?
any market. So I want you
Yeah.
to, like, consider this, like, the difference between, like, say, Tyreek Hill and Jonathan Ogden. Tyreek Hill is like the fastest guy in the NFL. Jonathan Ogden was a 6'9" left tackle. One guy has status because he's strong. One guy has status because he's fast.
But they both have status.
They all both have status. One guy has status because he can throw a football. One guy has status because his girlfriend's hot, right? there's a different ways, but as long as you show some level of competency that makes you better than other people in that one area, well, you remember them forever. And that's the only thing that really matters.
Let me ask you this. So establishing you have to be enhanced in some way. Like
no, I don't say you. I don't say you have to. I'm saying you're competing with the world. That
you're on the same racetrack.
Yeah, it's Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong was on gear.
Such a good example.
Lance Armstrong was on gear,
like
and
a bodybuilding stage.
The top 20 people also in the Tour de France were also on gear.
Yeah.
So in the long term, do you think that that's going to shorten their lives? They're going to
100% shorten.
So
steroids.
So like enhanced in any way, really, like cognitively or physically.
No,
well, the abuse of it will definitely cause it.
Yeah. From their future to
absolutely. There's no aortic pump meant to carry 245 pound, 210 pound. The heart, you know.
Come on, how much do I weigh? Come
on, you're 185.
186.
Yeah.
Really? I got it.
About 180.
Okay, but the human heart. Did you know to live a long time, we have to be close to our high school weights?
Yeah.
I'm 70 pounds over.
Yeah, if you look, world's oldest people, they went over it, and it's these people who like live in Japan, and these men
like 101 years old,
101, and they're like these guys are like 135. Yeah, you're right.
The high protein diet, you get jacked, you look great. The number one
heart failure.
True, but the number one thing that ages you the fastest, because digesting food is an inflammatory thing. So high protein diet means you are getting old fast, but your bicep is big. So that's why I cut back.
Don't care.
Got jacked.
I lost the.
But like, so that just goes to like, what are people willing to sacrifice?
That's where I was going.
Okay.
So when I did my infamous tweet about like, if you want the quickest path to becoming a high value guy is to not get married, not to avoid family, get a vasectomy when you're in your 20s, right? And then also the stuff that nobody else wants to remember, which is like get to the gym, get jacked, stay on your focus, stay on your mission, the more esoteric kind of stuff like that. But really what that was baiting and trolling, of course. And I got Ben Shapiro, I got Matt Walsh, I got Lauren Chan, all the big heavy hitters.
So don't say baiting and trolling, because they're gonna think you're not actually meaning it.
No,
he means the statistics.
I mean it in the sense that
he's not endorsing
it. It's meant to inspire the question we just considered here. What are you willing to sacrifice in your life?
Your future
to become extraordinary.
But hold on, I promise you, they still don't understand.
They don't, because they're all 11 years old and 12 years old.
Let me do it, because my community is going to be like,
brains are there.
Circa, you're pro-family. You let Rolo say that. What he's saying is, what is the fastest way us four can make $1 million is rob a fucking bank.
Yep.
We're just telling you telling you the fastest way. We're not saying it. We're not saying it's a good idea. We're just listening.
Hey, did we just like
you worked in a club for a long time, dude? The average guy who comes in versus the coke dealer. The coke dealer just dunks on you, bro.
Yeah.
The coke dealer just fucking dunk. Like you're sitting there having the best night of your life, talking to your dream girl, and some dude with a white t-shirt comes on, whispers in her ear, and then she's fucking gone, bro. And you're so confused. But then you have this point. It's like, do I actually want to sell cocaine? Like what do
That's how I started.
Wait.
A bag beat me. A little bag. All he did is do this in front of the white girl's eyes.
Yeah.
Did we just say we wanted to like create our own dead presidents in Vegas?
Yeah.
I think we just did.
So like when I did that tweet, like clearly I'm not like endorsing this
shit
because I'm coming up on 27 years of marriage. I do what I do. I've written 5 books on
the only red pill who's actually married.
But the thing is, everybody just throws that shit out the window because they would rather use that as like red meat and clickbait for themselves. But again, the serious question behind that is, what are you willing to sacrifice? How much are you willing to sacrifice? Because everybody who responded to that, including Matt Walsh and including Ben Shapiro and all the trad cons who wanted to have something to talk about, right? They wanted to go and insert their own list of here's how you should really do it. You should be a family guy and go and be a leader in your church and go do all this other shit. And it was all whatever they thought was this is what an alpha male really is.
But it was all morals.
But you know what? That alpha male gets dogged in the clubs because the guy has coke in it and she takes off.
But it was all based on morals. Like their list was all based on moralistic beliefs. Yours was on you do bolts. Yeah. Like it wasn't
the
like
reality of it, but it was meant to inspire an understanding of what are you willing to sacrifice to get to what you want.
When my trad cons are like, you gotta attack Rolo on, he's like attacking. I love marriage. It's like my biggest reason why I went to Christianity. I love we went over it. But dude, your wife will have 7 bodies before you. What he's saying is, those days are over, and it's blackpilling.
Realistic.
But
Yeah.
he's not saying the tradcon dream is not tasty. It looks beautiful.
It's just not.
He's
It's
saying
not.
it looks great.
He said it's not obtainable the way that it used to be today. You
Wait,
have to
how
be
can
different.
Can we go to Colombia and live that?
So that was
tradcon
my
dream?
next thing is the passport bros
He's
because
from Colombia. He's taking us.
you brought this up before. The idea of trying to find a woman here and like you're a billionaire and you can't even get a virgin. And can you go into that whole concept where
Basically, whether you have $5, 100,000, 20 million, 30 million, 100 million, you don't have access to a virgin. If you do, it's not like an Instagram looking virgin, that's for sure.
Mhm.
And
It's the girl who's an influencer who's selling her virginity
Dude.
as a publicity
Yeah.
stunt.
Oh, you mean like
or
Cost you $5
or-
million
or is that-
then you can have a virgin.
it's
Yeah,
that
oh,
it's
that's
that
all
one
you
it's
can
that one
have.
autistic
Mila
chick on whatever
Khalifa?
podcast. You know that autistic chick on
Yeah.
whatever podcast who just dresses up like Justin Bateman?
Yeah.
That's the other virgin you get.
But check,
Oh,
check
God.
out what I'm saying. Like, I'm not everyone attacked me like he wants a virgin wife. That's not what I'm saying. I'll take a non-virgin wife if she's good enough. But isn't it scary how the option doesn't exist at
Yeah.
any level? And is that what is it? That's like some control system on the man. That's a gynocentric world.
The desire for that is pure cope too.
Yeah.
It's like, I want a girl who's going to be perfect. Like, dude, you're not getting laid, period, whether she's a virgin or she's
Mhm.
not.
Yeah, if Logan
You're
Paul
gonna-
isn't getting it, you're not
And
getting
you're,
it.
and you're going to tell me that your litmus test for a chick is she's got to be a virgin, she's got to be Eastern Orthodox Christian, she's got to have, come from a good family of 5, and she's got to be like some chick from the Amish Dutch country in
That's
Pennsylvania
unicorn.
or something
That's
like
the
that.
unicorn
It's like,
talk,
look,
and that's how people kill themselves. It's unicorn
but
talk.
it's like, okay, do they seriously want that? No. But the thing, or do they have any realistic expectation of finding that today? No. They just want to go on Twitter. They just want to talk shit. They
Yeah.
just want to look at the
For sure.
latest short and just
Oh,
like
they'll
type in
never
and say,
show their
"So I
girlfriend
want
they're
the
dating.
girl."
They'll never show their girlfriend they're dating, but
No.
they'll say this is what they look for. I thought I was the biggest genius in the dating market.
Uh-huh.
When I broke it down, I looked at my history of all the girls I dated. I'm like, it comes down to she's either pure and fucking ugly or gorgeous.
Oh.
Yeah. And if you look at the spectrum, you could go any which way. But the more you go, all my buddies who have pure wives,
And they're ugly.
I swear to God, I lose my appetite if they're in the room. But now all my buddies who have hot girls, they tamed like a hoe and XO. It's really like that's your only two options. And who are you? I'm like Donald Trump, so I'm gonna marry like him. He married that thing, right? So that's what's so scary is like for us, we have to choose. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's the reality of it, though. You, as like Rolo says, know what you're getting into. He's not. Rolo's not against marriage. He's against the way that we do it now.
Yes.
So when he tells guys, "I'm against the way we do it now," he's saying, "Know everything about this marriage."
With eyes wide
Exactly.
open.
When we talked about it, like what 2 weeks ago, you're like, you know what you're going into. You know what you got into. So there's no complaining about it
Yeah,
now.
I
Okay,
feel
so-
like you would have more success if you talked about it after they get a divorce, because no matter
Well, see,
how
that's-
much studies
But
they
see, it's
read,
too late
they're
then.
loved.
Yeah.
No, it's not too late. They can read all the studies on Earth. Black Bill, men in love will say
That's-
Rolo.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
do it anyway.
Even Torsia will say that.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
like, she was saying, you're still gonna marry her. You're still gonna f her. You're still gonna.
I have
Yeah.
I have a
Doesn't matter.
buddy who said she cheated on me. She did this. She said she did that. Zerk, I need your advice. I'm like, it's fine, bro. I don't have advice for you. He's like, you're one of my best friends. Why not? I'm like,
Because
you're
you're
gonna
gonna
do
do
it.
it
You do it
anyway.
anyway.
I
Yeah.
did it. Everyone did it, bro. And when you get f***ed over,
They
I-
want permission. They want
Exactly.
They
They
want
want.
permission to do what they're already gonna do.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a middle ground here, right? I'm going to save myself and be awesome for this one virgin girl, or Myron when he says 50 bodies before, and I went through a breakup one time. I lived in Las Vegas. I had way too many girls at one point, but and I
Mhm.
remember at the end being like, wow,
That's
that was ridiculous.
Depression
Yeah,
f***ing
for
is
sure.
the most you'll ever.
Yeah. So my question is there a middle ground, or should there be a period from like 21 to 30 where you have a year where you're with 20 girls, 30 girls, something like that? Or is that too much? What do you guys think? Does
So
anyone
out
need
of
to
the
learn the
realm of
lesson?
Most people's frame of reference.
You know,
is
like,
it's
I was-
Is it that? Is it that?
Okay,
Few people can do
So
that.
I'll answer
Probably
this
less
question
than
like
15%
I'll
of
answer this
people.
question like
4.5%.
2 ways. All right. From a biblical sense, right? It says, well, you're whoremongering. You got to not do that. That's not a good thing. So if you want to be right in the eyes of God, then you stay away from that.
Yeah.
In the real reality here, because we're all humans and we all fall.
You end up like Steven Crowder and marrying the first woman you
Yeah.
have sex with without a
and
prenup.
then you have a
And
problem.
Flex on
Yeah.
everybody
That's
on
all right.
Fox News.
But then- but then
I
the
like
reality
Crowder.
is
was
that
just
you know
stupid
what?
to do.
The reality is that you're gonna around.
Yeah.
Just be. Like,
Yeah, but can't we all remember that girl that we thought was so hot we had
think about
sex
her
with?
every day of my life. My first girlfriend,
Like,
I
it's
swear
like-
I think about her. And she's ugly and
But didn't you learn something that there's no other way to learn than going through that?
You
There's
learn
so
through your
many
mistakes.
lessons that I learned from these mistakes, so many red flags.
Yeah.
And in the interim, I had a couple threesomes and it was awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I had fun learning and I learned, and there was a couple of like ups and downs.
Every threesome I've ever had, when I'm done, I go to the balcony for a cigarette, and they get kind of sad that I'm done playing with them.
Toweling off.
And all I'm doing is dragging the cigarette like I'm trying to kill myself, thinking about my first girlfriend.
Really?
And it's been like this from 21 to 29,
So, yeah,
bro.
because you're fixated on that. That's a chick. That's the first chick.
It's funny.
She broke me bad, bro.
that's the
My
chick
first
that said
girlfriend is
yes.
fixated on me. I don't really.
Same
think
here.
that, but
That's
Rolo,
the
here's
benchmark.
the
That's the
weird thing.
benchmark.
Rolo, when I went away, I'm like, hey, if we break up, I'm gonna be a whore. And she's like, you're a nerd, you're a gamer, you're not gonna do that. I'm like, and then I injected all the roids and became a whore, right? And I all her friends, and she was traumatized, and went to therapy. She's like,
Same.
he's everyone. But I told her, don't let me become a whore. Like, we should kick it together.
Mm.
When she came back in my life, and she's like, you have to see me, picks me up at the club, and I'm all up. She kisses me. I was like waiting a year for this. I used to fantasize it every day.
We talked about this.
And I pulled away.
Oh.
I instinctively pulled away, like I'm disgusted. And she started crying. I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with tears. I got out of the car. I'm like, 1 year straight, I waited for her to come back in my life. And why did my body do that? And I sat down thinking on
Instinct.
trend. And then I realized, oh, that was the first time I realized my value is way higher. Than
Yeah.
Right,
Great-
right.
great-
Oh, yeah.
Way higher.
I
Great-
have gone
Great
through
Gatsby.
exactly-
Great-
I've gone through similar situations.
But she
like
didn't
that.
look ugly that night. She looked gorgeous.
Mm.
I was just I got
When I-
status. in my city,
Here's the
muscles.
question though: Can a girl be so hot, but you just not want to?
Of course. Yeah.
So what is that? What explains that?
Yeah, if a girl ever cheated,
Oh.
that's how I would feel.
Oh,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But I can tell you right now, at 45, if she cheated, I would not have a problem getting rid of her. At 22, if her boobs were really big, I would keep having sex with her. I had no standards at 22. At 45, I have them. And I learned that from being with multiple
I
women.
will tell you this, and everybody's going to hack up and discuss because I'm going to bring up my rock star 20s when I was between the ages of 21 and about 24 years old, right? And then you want to know where the majority of my notch count came from. It come from being in Hollywood music scene from the late 80s into the early 90s, and it was like a kid in a candy store.
Oh yeah.
And I was very blue pill and very simpy when I was in my teenage years.
Same.
And then I got into Hollywood. I was playing in bands. I was busting my ass because I thought I was going to be. I was a semi-professional musician at the time, and it sure the wasn't for the money. It was for the pussy.
Yeah.
So what's the next gig? When's the next show? If this is I love the lifestyle. I love being involved in all of that. And then you're right because you go from being this kind of like no sex kind of loser to suddenly you figured something out what works for you. And now I went from the girl who was, oh, she's pretty hot, or I get with the girl who wouldn't with me when I was in high school. She wants to me now. Okay.
Back then she didn't want me.
Oh, I get with the
hot hoes all.
I get with the black
on
chick.
me.
I get with a Vietnamese chick. I get with the blonde chick. I get with swimsuit models. I get with a centerfold at one point.
That's why I
And I'm
always
like-
say,
and it's like, what's next?
I always
Yeah.
say to
know.
protect a young man's mental health, abundance.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well,
Abundance
Rule
is
number-
the greatest.
Rule number
Exactly.
3.
Bro,
always,
she could break
always
your
abundance.
heart. She could break your heart, and then she doesn't leave the car as she's breaking up with you because she's like, as soon as he picks up that phone, there's another.
Yep.
The most bulletproof you will ever be in your life is when you have the most options, because confidence is derived from options.
Yeah.
If you talk to your employer and you say, hey, look, I got a job, I got a new job from Joe down the street right now. I'm giving you my 2 weeks notice, and you're like, it's been great, thanks, bye. That's the point at which your employer says, hey, wait a minute, we'll give you a raise or whatever. The thing is you wouldn't have that conversation with him if you didn't have another option that was on
The leverage.
they call it monkey branching when it comes to like girls and stuff like that. But if you had a bunch of guys who wanted to give you work and then this guy wants to keep you, well, now you're at a different frame of mind. It's the same thing with girls. If you have a bunch of girls who want to on speed dial, who are all proven, you have a rotation of girls. It's not about many girls that you possibly can, or you're validating yourself, or your notch count. It's about abundance, because from those options comes confidence. So guys who have that access, they have the selectivity, they're going to be a different person because they're not necessitous. They're not thirsting for it, because they know that if it doesn't work out with this new Becky, Jennifer's already in the past.
And
I'm
Jenny
gonna go back
got
to
no gag reflex.
Listen,
she's got no gag.
listen. Rule number 3 in MOA: the answer is always abundance, unless you have a heroin addiction. Then the answer is not
Yeah,
abundance.
too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
I got a question for Rolo, because you said this back in January. You said you're not going to recognize the red pill.
Oh yeah.
And then we see how we have new players in the space.
Mhm.
We got Zerka,
Mhm.
right? We got, Sneeko.
Circa as out at the top. It's
Can
I
at
say
least
one-
genuine.
Go ahead.
At least genuine. and
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
So
Wait. Just to be fair, I've been doing this for years. I'm not new.
Yeah.
I've been way before Andrew Tate. I've been on Twitch this 4 years of this.
okay, but what I'm getting at
No
is
one taught me red pill. I was in a club staring at people on cocaine.
Natural.
he's a
dilated.
natural.
My
He's a
eyes were
natural.
dilated.
But like the question
Night
is,
Club will
Thank you,
teach
Red
you.
Pill.
no, what the question is like, where do you see it going now? Like with all the players that
Oh.
you see,
God.
like
It's
where do you
already
see
there.
it?
We're already we're leaning that way because we are in an election cycle right now. The same thing happened in 2016. The same thing happened in 2019, 2020. What happens is everybody abandons the red pill. They abandon the manosphere. Like all the people who came into this space, who built brands on this space. I can name it. You can name it like Jedediah Bila, Adam Sosnick, even Myron and Fresh. All the rest of these guys. They came into this space. Remember, Fresh and Fit's only 2 years old.
Yeah.
2 years old. I've been doing this for 21 and a half years now, right? They've been doing it for 2 years. Like Fresh had a McLaren in 8 months of doing this. Okay, so there's definitely proof is in the concept.
But
right?
I
Proof of
never
concept.
link you with them because theirs is more entertainment. Right?
Well, that's another thing. So
there's a
what?
huge-
But see that.
So
that's
then,
what's
yeah, that
happened.
goes into the
That's
5
what's happened
categories,
into the
right?
different categories. There's the reactors. That's like the MTRs. That's like the people who react to everybody, and their whole business model is built around talking shit about this probably right now, taking clips out of it and going, "This is why they're wrong." Thanks, bye. And see on the next time I go and react. Then there's the guys who are the hustlers. The hustlers are of course the Andrew Tates of the world, the people who have
box shipping.
they have an angle, put it that way. And then you've got the people who want to turn the red pill into their sort of men's ministry because they're religious and they.
Oh, you're talking
like-
about the Ruslans?
They love aspects of it that agree with their ego investments in the religion, but they can't. Well, but we don't want the and the cocaine and the clubs kind of thing. But we do agree with this and this pick and pull. And then you have the ideas guys, and I think we've always been around myself, like the Rhinestones, the people who actually have and I would consider Mike amongst those, developing new ideas, coming up with new stuff, having the conversations about things and sort of weighing, coming up with new concepts. But what's happening right now is the people who have made the manosphere kind of their bread and butter, they see the writing on the wall. And so what happens is they take the red pill and they say, the red pill is not about and it's about conservative politics or this ideology, whatever your pet ideology happens to be, that becomes the analogy for whatever truth is. And then you take the red.
But
pill
hold
and
on.
take the blue pill.
Why would someone like you guys ever defend traditional values if you aren't going to admit they're rooted in the Bible?
Traditional values.
There's no way
Whose traditions? That's the thing. So you will always hear me say this. I never talk about like traditional masculinity. I always say conventional masculinity because my
break it down.
basis.
What's the difference?
Okay, so the difference is you're from Albania, where Yugoslavia, where
Albania.
one of those places. over
Lives
there.
Vancouver,
You're
right?
So your traditions are going to be way different than mine here in living in Huntington Beach, California, right? I grew up in a different.
Well, no. If I'm conservative and you're conservative, we're not cutting our. Dicks
But
off.
see, here's the thing: is there's a lot of people who still.
That is true.
We are not cutting.
I
our
cannot
dicks.
argue with
You get
that.
it? Congratulations, we found some common ground.
But really,
Anti-dick cutters.
That's how humans are cut.
But see, that's
either
why.
left or right.
So for some people, like masculinity might mean one thing because of their culture, because of their religion, because of
Mhm.
their race, because of where they were born, their geographical, location, whatever. That's why I don't use the term tradition, because whose tradition are we
Well,
talking?
no.
It's very specific. But as men, there are specific attributes of ourselves that are conventionally masculine that, by the way, are under attack, of course, but
Mhm.
they are things that unite us. Like, so you can take, I love using this example. When the Vikings came across to Northern America, and there's like this meeting of, like, say, the Indian tribes that were the
Mhm.
Native Americans here, and the Vikings come, and you see like the tribal leaders, and they're alpha males, right? They're guys, and what all they have to do, they don't speak the same language, they just do this. All they do
It's
is
like when you can
nod.
see the guy in the-
There's this
in the
there's this
liquor store.
masculine understanding that
Yeah.
this is your tribe and this is who you take care of, and that's your woman and that's your woman and that's your child and everything like that. Here's mine right here, and so all it is it's just this, the eyes meet, and there's this sort
Yeah.
of mutual respect because there's this meeting of the tribes led by men, right? That's conventional masculinity. There are aspects of our personalities that are endemic to or intrinsic to what we are as men that supersede tradition.
I think where we the separation may be is that the Prophet Muhammad is 1,500 years ago. Jesus Christ is 2,000 years ago. Got Gautama Buddha is 2,500 years ago. But what you're referring to is Pleistocene, Homo sapiens.
We're talking
50,000
about
50,000 years
hunter-gatherers
ago.
on the sub-Saharan African
Yeah,
savannas.
we're talking 50.
Like,
We're talking 200,000 years ago.
It's innate to the machine that is the
Yeah.
human body.
I think that's where the separation is.
There's a difference between men and women, and it's down to the molecular level. Okay?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like the way our brains are wired is not the same way that women's brains are wired. How men interact, how men
Women don't even
communicate,
have chromosomes.
how men communicate is.
Don't, Mike. Don't,
I don't-
leave it-
I don't-
leave it alone.
got an extra chromosome.
It's either that or they have all of them.
Or you're lacking
Yeah.
a
Well,
chromosome.
so where do you see this shift going? Like, because we
It's
got like
gonna go
new
to the-
players.
Wait,
in
wait,
this-
We're
here we
already
go.
there.
I know you're gonna say Japan.
No,
Japan with
no, but
that
like, what do you
AI
see?
doll.
Here we go.
body.
Oh.
With the five,
culture war.
culture,
We're
it's
already
all
there.
culture war.
Look for this word, culture war. That's what everybody's going to be talking about in the next 18 months. And Tim Pool is already titling his videos culture war, culture war.
Glenn,
culture
how about
war.
this? So throughout history, we've never seen anything really swing to the right,
Yeah.
other than like say Afghanistan the last couple of years or Iran in 1979. These cultures always kind of go to the left. Now it's bad in that the fuck you're talking about cutting your dick off. It's good in that if you're just a little bit masculine, you get any girl you want. I have never had an easier time being attracted to women than I have right now because I'm being compared to Tekashi 6ix9ine and fucking Machine Gun Kelly in a pink dress. I have no obstacles whatsoever.
You're
It's-
so right
so
about
that's
that.
a-
You're so right about
Right,
that.
so
It's never been easier for us to your bitches.
Look at me. I'm 55 years old. I'm in great shape, 185 pounds. I don't even know what my body fat content is. Look at me, 55, and look at Destiny.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
There's the clip.
That's my
Holy
thought.
shit.
No,
That's
then,
my
then,
thought.
so
Oh,
then that
shit.
brings it back to it's easier for guys now because the bar's set so low.
and there's yet
Whoa, whoa,
fewer
whoa, whoa.
guys there.
He's
fewer
not saying-
guys there. No,
he's
the
not
bar.
saying it's easier for guys. He's saying
No, it should be.
these types of guys.
No, but I said the bar
Those
set
guys are
so
fucking-
low. The bar set so low.
Let's
we
call
should
it,
be like.
let's call it alpha poverty. Are you above the poverty line or below the poverty line? Let's just say the
Okay.
top 16% of men.
Alpha party. that's
So
a great-
so the group that's in the alpha group is never been smaller, but it's also never been easier to get in.
Yeah.
But what's happened is there is a narrative that you shouldn't want to get into that alpha group. And so because of that, now that is the Overton window consistently swinging to the left. Like
Yeah.
we said before, in 1975, if you had said, I want a federal mandate to protect gay marriage, people would have laughed you off the pulpit. And in 2023, if you said, I want a federal mandate to eliminate gay marriage, they would have laughed you off the pulpit. That is a 180-degree turn on something like
Yeah.
gay marriage, or cannabis would be another example.
Yeah.
The Overton window consistently switches to the left. So for me, I am of the opinion, like I am going to enjoy this period of time where my children are going to look like superheroes and I'm going to date beautiful women because I have no competition. Can we save the world? I don't know that we can. And the
Should
reason
we?
Well, here's the reason why. As we get further and further away from the
I mean,
survival scenario, go ahead.
You said it's shifting the window. Yeah, and I agree.
Yeah.
But when in history has that pendulum not come back?
I don't, it
Hardcore.
doesn't really come back. Like when you
It's not coming. You don't think the right is going to get way
There
more?
is no pendulum. That's a problem. I hate that word. People go roll. I
What
get this
about
all
the
time.
church?
When do you think the
For
pendulum's
thousands of
gonna swing
years,
back?
the church, every time it's suppressed, it comes back harder.
We always
It's not
want-
going anywhere.
because we want to think in terms.
the
of
church isn't going
circles.
anywhere, but the population has gotten so big. that
no
you-
one will rally around a red pill. They're going to rally
no.
around the cross or a Quran.
They're
But, like,
rallying
what
around
The
verse-
red
verse-
pill is
but it's-
here and now.
they're
But no,
going
but
to
what is
rally
what version of the cross are they going to rally around?
Doesn't
Because
matter.
it's so feminized
And it
now.
doesn't matter what the religion
The point
is.
is, that
Okay,
the religion,
okay.
yeah, exactly.
Makes no
exactly.
difference. It makes no difference because they will rally around the most strong, most dominant personality, the most
Mhm.
charismatic guru that's out there. Fortunately, up to now, everybody who has had the potential to be that person has been a dumb. Okay,
Yeah.
they have just been like a spurg. They've been autistic. They don't know what they're doing. When you
Even
see-
Donald.
Well, no, I'm not saying he was
No,
very
you-
charismatic, but I'm saying like going forward,
Yeah.
right? Going forward from where we're at right now, like
You're right, they're failing,
If,
you're right.
If Donald Trump couldn't be the next super cult leader,
But he's
guru,
not that
he's
conservative.
not even that
No, he's not.
conservative,
Could you
really.
imagine a guy in 1955 listening to Donald Trump who's been divorced,
I've said
probably had his ex-girlfriends had multiple
You
abortions,
want to know who's
se-
going to
several bankruptcies,
Well, does
and
he have
he's
to be conservative? He's
I'm
just
gonna-
a vehicle to break
Yeah,
in there.
I'm going to tell you who the Antichrist is going to be. He's going to be the guy who is charismatic enough to understand all of these guys want what sheep in search of a shepherd.
Mhm.
That they want him to be. He will be whatever they want him to be. But also, he will understand the human machine. He will
Mhm.
understand human nature. He will understand evolutionary psychology. He will understand that, because right now, when people say, "Oh, Klaus Schwab says something like, oh, you're going to own nothing and be happy," that goes completely against human nature.
Mhm.
The guy who accepts human nature and leverages it to enhance his personality and enhance his guru-ness or whatever it is, the guy who gets behind the evolutionary psychology and understands the innate nature of the human machine,
Oh, come on.
that guy is going to be dangerous.
So you said abolishing private property goes against human nature, but we've seen so many communist regimes.
Yeah,
But they all collapse.
But they keep losing.
Really, China just beat us.
But China isn't really communist.
No.
anymore.
Oh, my state-controlled trade.
Right,
is not-
but they're socialists. But they
I
buy our
got-
debt.
Here, I'll go you one better. You know why they've all failed? Because they don't understand human nature. Karl Marx wrote what the Communist Manifesto in the 1849,
Yeah.
somewhere around there, using our understanding of human nature from everything up to 1849.
Yeah.
Okay, what's happened since then? We have
This
fMRI
is-
studies, we have evolutionary psychology, we understand sociology, anthropology, neurology, endocrinology. Think of all the ologies that we have way more understanding of, and we have this thing right here, so that can, like a dumbass like me, can go get that information overnight. The reason why communism fails is because it's based on a failed understanding or bad understanding of human nature.
This is the
Because they-
greatest argument
outdated.
for the Bible, that it goes with human nature. This is the greatest argument for the Bible I've ever
You
heard.
can go and make the same
And-
case for the Torah, for the
Yeah.
Quran, for a lot of
I
it.
can't.
You
What
can.
civilization?
Well,
What civilizations
I
did
can
they
go,
build?
I can go and pick out parts of all the holy texts of all
Mhm.
history.
Whoa.
And I can say, because when I wrote my
None
fourth
of those
book,
people have Da Vinci's. Da Vinci's and geniuses all came
Da
from.
Vinci was gay. You did know that.
Yeah,
No,
right.
no. That's exactly my point. He's gonna say, "Oh, it's just some secular homosexual," but he grew up in the arena, in a Christian
Yeah, but
society.
I mean,
all the geniuses grew up in a Christian world.
No.
Just because they like sucking
listen.
doesn't mean they didn't
listen,
benefit from
listen,
the Bible.
As a Christian, it is hard for me to then just say everything that the Chinese.
Okay, is Jordan Peterson on Da Vinci's level? We don't have geniuses anymore
No.
because we're not in a Christian era.
Sure.
We're in a what fake news era.
But you're also understanding that Leonardo da Vinci, because I have a background in I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts as well.
Name one mainstream genius right now. Plato, on Plato's level. Is it Jordan Peterson? That
No,
They-
I can't, because
no
the thing-
geniuses
no, and I'll
exist.
tell you what. No, because
History hasn't written it,
because
right?
your benchmark for genius is Plato, Aristotle, and all the guys who came before him. So what I always struggle with is because people say, well, Saint Thomas Aquinas and whatever
All
else.
right, do the last 100 years.
Or what is it?
I mean, personally, I think Dr. Buss. I would also say probably
Who?
Dr. Huberman.
If I have to say who, there are nobody.
He's the most published evolutionary psychologist in the world. David Buss.
You're putting him with Plato? Oh,
No,
there-
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 he's
but
equating them,
but
he's
here's the
equating
thing.
them.
Here's the thing.
Plato had no other Platos. What I'm saying is Dr. Buss is a psychologist in a field where psychology has been around for 200 years. So no matter what we do in comparison,
But that you just made my point. For the last 200 years, you can't name one.
no, right,
genius.
because
we're getting dumber over time, bro.
well, no, I don't
I-
know if
that's
it's
my
when you're
point.
getting dumb. There's just
You
more of
guys
us.
think
Hawking.
because
Or
of
there-
this,
or
you
is
guys
it
think
because
that-
there's more?
No,
There's more.
when the calculator came out, teachers were against it because they said it will make the students dumb.
No, I see
When
what you're saying.
autocorrect came out, it made us not. I don't even know how to spell necessary. I keep with that word. We got dumber over time. We're not
Necessary is
evolving.
hard.
We're getting
Oh, yeah.
dumber. Malcolm X could wipe the floor with Jordan
Mhm.
Peterson in a debate. We're getting dumber
Mhm.
over time. But when
because-
you track it back, we peaked at a Catholic theocracy for
Okay.
geniuses.
Here,
We
let me-
peaked.
Let me bake.
I won.
Let me bake your brain a little
Can I
bit.
get water?
No, I'll tell you why you didn't win, because I'm about to bake your brain. It's what's called genetic gap.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Here we
for
go.
instance, our ability as humans to deal with and to process and to interpret new technology advances faster than our ability to actually keep up
Correct,
with that
yes.
in so many different realms too. We're not just talking technology. We're talking about
And the slope of the curve is going to increase.
For instance, why do we have an obesity epidemic in the United States? Because you can go get a burrito supreme right down the f***ing street. You don't have to kill anything. You don't have to run to go get it. Hell, they'll deliver it to our f***ing door right now if we want.
I had
to,
Chipotle.
Right? Okay. In the first time in human history, we have like instant food that's high fat, high starch, high calorie, sugar, whatever the f*** you want. It'll arrive right at your door. Now, think about this. That is in a blink of an eye. in human history. Okay, so now suddenly we have what is it? 75% of people in the United States are overweight. 40% of women are morbidly obese. 35% of men are morbidly obese. That is because the machine doesn't change, but the environment does.
Yeah,
so
and
the
corporations bought the science.
well, of course,
90% of science is fake news.
Okay, so
that's why when he gives me his statistics on dating, I test it out to see if Rolo's
whether it's
works.
fake or it's not doesn't make any difference. But we know that because we have easy access to high calorie food right now, our ability to keep up with it and stay in shape. So we have heart disease. That's on Dr. Phil. Was it Imran Ahmed? He was like, "Oh, do you know what the number one killer of women is?" Like, expect
the answer is heart disease. It's not
the
when.
Is heart disease because we're overweight. That's why. Okay, but the reason
actually, besides OJ, women never die because of men.
Yeah,
I can't even think of one case.
Right.
And OJ was acquitted.
No, when men,
the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
So,
if you notice, when men are very violent, dude, the biggest casualties other men.
Oh, man, of course.
Yeah.
Look at the numbers.
The biggest killer of other men is other men.
90% of murders are committed by men. 80% of the victims of those crimes are men.
Is that because of genetic gap, because of our inability, like we have this cell phone, we have pornography anytime we want.
Yeah.
We were never evolved. We never had anything in our ancestral past that prepared us for having that instant gratification of sex, right? Or for instance, and this I love using this. Was it 1906 when the Wright brothers?
In Ohio,
So we're learning to fly. We put a man into the air in 1906. By 1966, allegedly 69, we have a man on the moon. Okay, if you don't believe that,
and then since then we had nobody because the technology just stopped.
So if you don't, even if you don't believe,
so 72.
Even if you don't believe that,
okay, can I debunk that in a sec? We've had electric cars roll up for hundreds of years. You know we have. So they're suppressed. So are we really progressing?
Planned obsolescence. Yes,
they have cars run on water, and you're telling me we're progressing. 200 years ago, they had cars, electric cars.
They had tires that will never go flat. But you know what they do with the guy who invents the tire that doesn't go flat?
Kill him.
So why do you assume? So why do you?
You know, he had a heart attack.
So then why do you keep going into that like market-tard position where you assume you have the best device if everything's being suppressed?
I'm not saying it's the best.
Not everything's being
suppressed. Saying, so what my point is this: is that our ability to keep up with that. The reason why we're even having this, we couldn't have this discussion just 10 years ago because YouTube wasn't what it was back then. And so we advanced that much more and we're still trying to figure it out. Now think about this. Okay, even if you don't agree with the moonshot, okay, we had human flight in 1906 and we at least had like ramjet technology so we could fly like, phantom jets by the 70s. We know that. Okay?
We had ramjets.
So that's think about that's only 75, like less than 70
It
years.
Doesn't impress me at all.
Well, I'm not trying to impress you.
No, the fact that you guys think the technology's just boomed out of nowhere, bro. No, it hasn't.
No,
I'm pretty sure we're being suppressed with the shittiest technology. Tesla said he found free energy to use from cosmic ether and stars, solar energy. Bro, I'm pretty sure they have better systems that they suppress.
So let's say the suppression.
Because you guys love the cage.
Hold on.
You love the Matrix. You're like, I'm a millionaire.
You know what this is
I don't love it, bro.
You know what this is like? I just figured this out. This is like Guardians of the Galaxy. We're trying to deal with Drax.
Yes.
He's trying to explain something to me. He's like, don't worry, it wouldn't go over my head because I would
be
able to catch it.
In my world,
this is Drax.
He is Drax.
My the scariest position is when people are like, we have technology. Look at this. This shouldn't impress you, Rolo, because this isn't even close to what Plato did. This is a joke.
I can go look up everything Plato ever did on that in a minute.
Can this write anything Plato ever wrote? Plato said
the thing. Unfortunately, is we're about a couple years away from it being able to do that.
Really?
Did you see the AI? The first AI.
Gonna replace Plato?
Did you see the first AI like press conference?
Tell the difference.
Yeah, but
did you see that?
But the problem is your kids won't know the difference. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I think it's going to get significantly worse.
Oh yeah.
You guys all share the position that one day we'll have the technology to make a human eyeball.
No.
That has to lead.
Cloning?
Might be able to
you talking about cloning? Are you talking about
How
cloning?
about this? An easier one. Do you think humans will make a camera that sees better than a human eye?
We already have cameras that micro lenses already see better than a human eye.
Infrared, ultra green.
Yeah,
No. We're saying reality, not
how much coke did you do?
Have you?
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
I'm confused.
That you shouldn't.
We are all confused.
You don't.
Have you ever seen
All right,
the
No. Let him cook because I
Okay.
got something.
Go ahead.
here.
Go ahead.
Basically,
Now we're talking some good shit.
basically the
Yeah.
agnostic thinkers, you guys all believe, oh, this technology is so great. One day
I'm
this
not
camera will be better than a 2020 eyeball. That's your position.
You don't think it is now? You can get 10x digital zoom. I don't understand how it's not
Over
working.
reality?
No,
Hold on.
what
Have
do
you
you
ever
mean
met
by
up and
over?
hold on. Have you ever met up an Instagram girl and then you were like, she's a catfish in
Oh,
reality?
it happens all the time. But like,
You
is
think
it?
a camera is gonna spot the catfish? Like,
No,
give
no.
me a break.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No,
Oh.
I was.
It'll never
I mean more so like.
All right,
those-
here's why you're
our
embarrassing
planet-
yourselves.
Yeah.
You're really saying if they can make the eye one day, they can make a human. That's how stupid this fucking atheist position is.
Right, but
I won.
okay, hold on.
I didn't know we were
But
debating.
We don't disagree.
Were we
with you.
debating?
He just defaults to that. He defaults to that.
Think about this.
I won. The ghosts
Here-
destroyed the ghosts.
I'll
Okay.
speak
What?
in
What are we
the.
inviting?
Hold on. I'll speak in like Revelations. Okay, on the one
God, here we
hand,
go.
on the one hand, we will have the Christian beliefs and the purity of that, and on the other hand, they will build a robot where you won't be able to tell the difference between that and a regular person.
Yeah.
Both things can be true. right?
Absolutely.
The idea that if that Christianity then means the world is going to be good. No, it's not.
No.
That's not it at all.
That's not even what the Bible
I
says.
absolutely believe our
think
ancestors.
They're gonna build an android, and they have
No, you
nice
won't- you-
looking androids.
you
right now,
won't- you
but
won't
They're
care.
gonna fool.
You won't care.
Exactly.
That's my
Don't
point.
care if
Yeah.
it has a soul.
Hold on, let me ask you this
It
question.
won't, it won't
Let me ask
have
you a
a
question.
soul.
I'll bet you our ancestors from like 1850s would see fake tits and be like, "Oh my god, what the is that?" But we love it now because we're used to it. I'm telling you, there's going to be a point.
I don't know. Men will couch.
Yeah,
They
but-
don't like anything.
Yeah. Well, here's a question then, because it goes back to what you were going to talk about the other day. You brought up marriage, right? How do we define marriage now?
Oh, we're gonna go there. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was trying to bring this up like
On what, Thursday?
on our show
Yeah.
actually, and when I was talking about clothes on her end, clothes on all the different models of that, and that's what I wanted to say. I don't think the question that Matt Walsh or those kind of people should be asking is like, what is a woman, right? Because they're looking for an objective answer. What they really need to do is they need to ask, what is marriage? How are we going to do marriage in the 21st century? Because people always hit on me and they go, Rolo, I can't believe you
Yeah, but
said
don't
this
you
thing."
know? Like, don't you know? Like, it's just whatever you want.
Well, that's what I was
the
going
answer
to
is
do.
whatever you want.
But
That's
that's
what-
relative and subjective.
But I was
right
going to
now.
say, like, how about we go around the table and just see what the definition of
No,
marriage is? Because it's
no,
probably going to be
no, I'm
different
not-
just between
I
the four of
I
us,
can't
right?
give you a definition. I'm telling you what's going to happen in 50 years. They're going to marry animals and robots, and we're not going to think it's weird.
They do it
How do
now.
you guys not see that we're heading in this? Even as a Christian, you have to read the book of Revelations.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is obviously what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You think
The
it's
perversion.
crazy, the idea of a Homo sapien male a robot. But the problem is, consider this: a 16-year-old boy who gets rejected by women and has this beautiful robot that says or does, or
Oh, yeah.
four robots. Why the would he ever go back to dealing with
That's
women?
spinning
No,
plates.
no,
Is that going to be the new spinning plates?
Extinction agenda.
If that's your position, then you have to say in 50 years, most people will be transgender.
I mean, possibly it could be it.
Hell no.
Or they'll be open to the idea. So here's
The
the thing.
majority
Here's the
will be
thing.
trans?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's why I don't believe the majority of people will be transgender, because of the evolutionary properties in Homo sapien man.
You
That's the
can't
reason
change-
why.
You won't
What do you
change
mean by that?
unless
Like
you change
my
the
heterosexuality,
biological
my
makeup.
heterosexuality is not cultural; it's genetic.
Yeah.
And if it is genetic, then what happens in the future is
But
I'm
you're
still going to
saying
want those.
gay people are genetic.
Well, to some extent, it's not that they're genetic. It's that there's a hormonal. Here's one of the theories: is that there's an evolutionary adaptation to have men who stayed behind and watched the tribe that had no interest in
Very-
f***ing your wife.
DGG.
Very picky.
That's
Very
Destiny's community.
Yeah, but
Berry pickers.
you,
I used to call them potters.
okay, but you understand there would be a necessity for a berry picker. If you and I
Yeah.
went to go kill the meat, do I want your cousin who's like virile 19 and horny watching my wife, or do I want the gay guy watching my wife?
Gay
The
guy.
gay guy at least has broader shoulders. He's still stronger than a woman. He still has more grip strength than a woman. It could be, as a theory, an adaptation to have homosexuals be back there to guard the tribe.
How did you debunk the homosexuality from trauma? You said
Oh yeah. So again, I don't know this to be an answer, but one of the pieces of evidence against that is that you would see a poorer place with more abuse, like Mississippi, would have more homosexuals, and a place where people lived more affluent life, you'd see fewer homosexuals.
what about
you don't see that.
What about the nurture aspect of those places being more conservative? 'Cause they're
Nature
poor.
versus nurture was settled like ages ago.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the
But
problem is.
wouldn't the poor place be a lot more conservative? And it would be more strict?
So well, no, there's poor places that are like Jackson, Mississippi is not conservative. Like
no. We're talking about countries. You're talking about countries.
No, I'm talking about you would take individual cities, and what you'd find is if there was more abuse in that city, you'd find more homosexuals, and that's not what you find. And the way you know is by looking at porn searches in different areas of the country. And what you'd find is there'd be 25% of the people searching gay porn in one part of the country and 2% in another. And we don't find that. We find gay porn to be searched all across the country at the same rate. Yeah, it's a book called Dataclism. You can look it up. It's the guy from CTO. There's another book called Everybody Lies.
Well, what's the argument for the side that it is trauma? What did they say?
So it's weird.
That cope?
So no, it's weird. So the argument is more when you are homosexual, the likelihood of you being abused as a child is higher. However, if you come out as gay after the age of 18, the likelihood of you being abused is actually lower. So it's like it's kind of a weird thing where
I have so many gay friends who are honest. Even the online ones that didn't like me, I've never met a gay guy that didn't say they got like abused. I've never had a gay dude look at me and say, I'm one of the.
I know,
but abused. But does abused mean that they were sexually abused? Okay, cool. I can't speak to that. All I can speak to is
online forums, the gay forums. Like 99% of them are about being touched by their uncle.
Okay,
I'll give you just my quick take on homosexuality. I've actually written essays about this. There is definitely some sort of genetic component to it.
Yeah. Do you think it's like a lack of testosterone?
It could be, but there's various theories.
So yeah, one of the theories is you did
like
not receive either higher testosterone in utero or at puberty.
Yeah.
One of those two places you didn't get.
How can a man be attracted to a man's butthole?
Okay,
how?
I'll tell you.
I don't
Perversion?
know. I can't.
Perversion?
I will tell you right now. It's because of habituation and behavior. Okay, so it's a behavioral. Okay, so my field of study in psychology was behaviorism. So when I was kind of contemplating all of this, there is a genetic predisposition. I will give you that, but there's also the environment that comes along with that. So if you're raised, they're homosexuals. If you look at were they raised in an all-female family with single mothers? Was it they have nothing but sisters? Was there a strong masculine influence? We have to take a lot of variables into case. And the problem is nobody has the willingness to actually do those studies because it's like, well, this is what you're.
But from what we notice anecdotally, in my experience, they are around a lot of women, bro.
So when people say, well, I was just born this way. Yeah, maybe a little bit, but what I would argue is that it's much more behavioral. So when somebody says I can't help being gay, I believe them. You can't help it because that's who you are over the course of your life, from the time you're 5 years old till you're 25 years old. But the stuff that happens,
you can change that, right? You could change your behaviors.
Yeah, but the issue is though the pray the gay away stuff shows it doesn't work.
Whoa. There's conversion therapy that's like suppressed documents, but dude, there was some success.
So you think it's successful? I mean, I have not seen anything that shows that it's successful.
Here's the flip side of that. You got guys who go into penitentiary, they're suddenly gay because that's their only
gay for the stay.
Gay for stay, and then they come out and they become heterosexual again.
Yeah.
So is it
it's a perversion?
Were they?
That's what I said. I said a perversion.
Or it's an adaptation.
Why are you stealing my shit?
It's an adaptation because they need.
But hold on. Why I think it's a perversion is because they're way more likely to indulge in other fetishes, and the studies overlap with pedophilia. Have you seen how much gays and pedophilia is like Coca-Cola and hot dogs, bro? What the
canceled? Here's the
okay, maybe bleep that out. Am I not making money anymore? I'm out of the game. They're bad me for that. All right, cut that one.
All right, what about the fact that
please say reverse? I need to make sure. You see, that one's off limits.
We got.
Glad we don't do live.
We're not doing
never
live.
going live again. What
What
do you mean we got it? They can blackmail me for money right now.
You know what? There was a lot of different comments on Access Vegas the other night. Okay, and everybody thinks that you guys ganged up and tag teamed him, and like you guys bombarded him and set him up. Can we clear the air here?
No, so we can clear the air. The thing with Adam is Adam was former in the space. It wasn't a YouTube space, but like the pickup space.
Yeah.
Went away from it a while, got into mergers and acquisitions, and he's trying to stick his head back into this whole idea.
He's trying to get in the game.
And I've had a few conversations with him, and I'm like, hey, bro, things have changed a lot. Like traditional PUA behavior of like just that you have to have there's a little tradcon stuff in here, and there has to be a reason for it, and you can't just like I this girl and I this other girl. Like you can't.
The main thing that changed is it's not men. It's like top 0.1%.
That's women.
It's like a pyramid.
So the other thing is like what I told him is like this idea that you're going to come out and like try to save a girl on here, even if you believe that is true. And I haven't had this conversation with him, but I probably would at some other point. It's like it's just this audience. It's just not going to go over
Bro,
well.
he tried to sell to red pill audiences,
but he didn't. He didn't understand.
You can have women sustain them for 10 years and they won't cheat. He had it. That's a janitor. That's a janitor.
So here's I mentioned this on
I went and bought a broom because of him.
I mentioned this on my show.
Hold on. The other issues we got to talk about is that he was in a throuple. He did not announce it publicly. I knew he was in a throuple. I'm actually friends with Allie.
Yeah.
And so I knew about this whole
Well,
situation.
she's been on the show before.
Yeah, so she's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Allie, because they didn't announce it, there was an awkward point in the show where I said, hey, can you describe the rest of your relationship? And I was waiting for him to explain to Zherka, hey, this is my other girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he never did that. And things got weird.
Why
and
didn't he do that?
I still don't know.
How much respect I showed the blonde because they're married and it's a Christian thing.
Yeah.
Right? Or you. I've never apologized, but I'm like, this guy helped me out so much. He's my people. And we were calling each other F-slurs on Twitter. So I knew he's from my community. But man, if he just introduced the other girl, it would have been a lot.
It would have been very different. Yeah.
Thank you.
But
he was ashamed of her because she's a stupid.
So let me explain something to you. All that like that you focused on when they were like slapping each other on the hands and stuff like that. That's because she was pissed off at him. He wasn't trying to hit on her.
So now let's go to the unsafe thing because that's what you're bringing up.
The safety thing.
Okay, so remember like the whole unsafe thing, and me and Roller had been talking about this for the past couple of days.
As soon as she said I feel unsafe, I'm like, my job here is done. I was like, you got Zert.
We were breaking this down.
What's her name? Ali Good? That's my license plate for the Ferrari. Thank you for the clip. That's gonna be recycled.
We realized like her saying she felt unsafe wasn't because of him.
No, it's because Adam wasn't making
it could have been. It could have been. Yeah. You're right. It could have been.
I'm not gonna lie. What guy would feel safe with a cokehead screaming on a microphone? Like that's kind of like it's not Adam when people are like he's a beta male. He should have made her feel safe. 6'5", 245 pounds. Who the gonna do that? I don't even with 160-pound men that I don't know because I've seen knife things and I'm like, oh. Vietnamese guys scary.
Presume they're always carrying.
Yeah.
So
but
like people are like, you should have stood up to Zherka. That's stupid. That's like me going up to Mike Tyson. Like what the.
But like, what
are you gonna say?
Yeah, go ahead.
The thing is, because I feel like there was a little bit of miscommunication. That was the only reason why we got into the situation.
And the nicest I've ever been. Zherka, when Zherka leans back like this, it means I'm sparing you. Because usually I go crazy. I flip tables.
The best part of this is when he speaks of himself in the
third person.
So here's the other thing.
It's a trinity.
Before every episode, I book all the girls.
Yeah.
And before every episode for this one, I wanted to make sure that I did the same thing with Fresh and Fit. You all need to watch Fresh and Fit, and then you need to tell me because I'm not going to have you come after me later and be like, you didn't tell me this was going to be like. So I had them all watch videos of Zherka, except Ali was the only one I didn't talk to.
Oh, you gave me the best cast I've ever had, and I'd say better than Fresh Fit because I said, Myron, feed me feminists. He's like, I'm trying, bro. I'm trying to find it. But
and I specifically looked for feminists that I knew were going to be willing to stand up to.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, Vegas is where you need.
I mean, we got
when Mike said, "Oh, I want to end this," and I said no, and you let me go on.
Yeah.
I was so terrified. If he ended it right there, half the views. You know what I mean?
So
you let me.
So to from that standpoint, we know what would do well.
Yeah.
So yes, did I bring feminists on there for that point? Yes, but that's what you wanted. That's what I wanted to see. I thought it was going to be interesting. And the idea of us all agreeing with each other, how boring would that have been?
Would be
So that's why that happened.
But like, there was no ganging up. Like, let's clarify that for your cult.
No, we need that narrative. We're still climbing in views.
There's a clip.
No, because I said, I'm like, I know they didn't snake me, but I have to attack them on Twitter. I gotta keep going. Well, I snaked them, but I didn't say anything mean.
It's all kayfabe.
It's all kayfabe.
No, I'll tell you this. The one time in my life where I can't imagine you guys being angry at any trolling. You know how sensitive red pill guys are? You guys, like, literally don't give a like, get back on the microphone. Let's make me some money, Zherka. You guys don't give a
I need it. I need better haters.
Yeah.
Actually, Rolo's the biggest troll on Twitter. Anytime
He
he's pissed at someone, it's the
man.
first comment.
I'm so good at it, you don't know I'm doing it. That's how good I am.
And it's brutal. He'll drop like one little bar.
No, I had that. So after that whole thing, like I'm going through my chat. I just gave up on the live stream because it's just like screaming by. And so I had these people who were telling me, man, you should have told her her feelings. Like
yeah.
Gad Saad, right? Gad Saad was on Joe Rogan, and completely different context. Okay, so when Joe Rogan was talking to Gadside, it was about like sort of how progressives were trying to justify their position with emotional like reasoning. Like here's the emotions, here's how I feel about this, and this is how it should work. Well, Gadside was saying, well, your feelings, because the objective reality says something different here, and you're everybody else over, and you don't have an objective understanding of truth because you're all in your feels, right? It's feels before reals. It's emotionalism over empiricism. That was the context in that. That was not the context with what was going on with Alley Cat on our show. She actually felt like, I feel like I'm, like you might have reminded her of an abusive.
You buy into the lie?
You might have. Well, no, I'm not saying that. You might have reminded her of an abusive boyfriend or father or something like that, and she might have felt that way. But that
just means she's mentally ill.
Well, just because
she's dealing with some trauma.
No, like she could turn the TV on.
Dude, you're a big mother. Okay.
Yeah, but you're saying that she wouldn't be triggered seeing me on TV. Yes, she would. It'd be the same thing. Mentally ill girl.
But you're actually
on TV. Would she feel unsafe?
Absolutely.
Why? Because
you
in
in
person you break the fourth wall.
So you're saying
you're right there.
So women won't have panic attacks seeing some toxic masculinity that reminds them of a bad time?
They could.
Panic attack is unsafe.
That's why they put trigger warnings in front of movies
but
and shit.
You didn't say would she be unsafe. You said would she feel unsafe? Meaning if she's having a panic attack because she's experiencing a trauma looping in her head, she would feel the same thing because she's mentally ill. Stupid bitch.
I don't doubt that she felt unsafe. I don't doubt that whatsoever. Maybe you're like she's not unsafe.
But you won't say she's mentally ill because you just said she would feel unsafe in her own home.
Because I don't know that she is mentally ill. That's the problem.
So or if we can't use that, we can't use that one situation as a point.
Or the majority of women are mentally ill at that point. Because
exactly.
That's the next thing. Because
absolutely.
There you go. Okay, so then the standard is
all right.
But so many women.
But hold on, you guys say all the time they expect the average guy to make 700.
Oh, totally agree. Delusional.
You guys agree?
Delusional and mentally ill are completely different.
Why? Delusional can walk in front of a car just
because
like mentally ill.
Delusional can make sense if they're like, well, I'm worth $5 million a year if I to get my man.
Yeah,
thing. It makes. If you've got a girl who's like on OnlyFans and she's turning like $500,000 a year, she thinks all the guys that are worthy of her attention make at least $500,000 a year too. That's delusional.
That's not mentally ill.
Delusion and mental illness will both make a woman who's not made for birth control destroy their whole body. Being delusional, it's the same effect. They're having the same.
It may have the same outcome, but they're not the same thing.
Yeah, she's not clinically insane.
Again, but then you guys believe
just
big
wrong.
pharma. I don't believe
just wrong.
I don't believe in that clinically insane. I think.
Big pharma did make that Adderall that you take, right?
Yeah.
That is the best argument I've ever heard in my life. I've never had, because everyone goes to Coke.
Let's diagnose.
Coke is my dealer. That is the greatest argument ever. And I get pharmaceutical grade or nothing.
There's the clip.
That is the first time I got destroyed. Because I usually respond quick, and I saw it. I was like,
you're like, damn, I got nothing to say.
Because everyone says, oh, Coke, and you don't like drugs, but Coke. And I go, Coke is from a dealer. It's not from Big Pharma, like Columbia.
Yeah.
Adderall,
Colombian. Damn. We got to cut this part.
So I use that before knowing all that was going on with Allie and the rest of them, I was making this comparison, right? Because I was saying the whole point came to this: is it a man's duty to protect a woman? Right?
That's the question I was trying to bring up.
So I brought up the scenario that Myron and Fresh and Andrew Tate use all the goddamn time, which is it a man's duty if you're upstairs with your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever, and there's an intruder comes into the house, who's going to go down there with a baseball bat or a gun? The man or the woman?
Well, no. Is it a man's duty to take care of a woman who is having a delusional panic attack?
No. Just give her Adderall.
I'm not gonna lie. I always cave in, and you're having a panic attack. I always cave in.
That one girl was crying to your left on Fresh and Fit when you started talking about you gave up a 3-year marriage.
Oh yeah.
Miami. You were apologetic to her afterwards, weren't you?
No. I said I'm trying to.
Oh.
They're very receptive, but I didn't have time. But the weird thing is like, remember, guys, if the marriage is the thing I promote the most, I hate that dumb. And I went on Twitter and I said she's a dumb. And everyone was stop, you're getting canceled. I don't care. If a woman throws away a 3-year marriage to go be a Miami, she's worse than she's worse than There you go.
She's worse than Obama.
Yeah.
She's worse than Emperor Hirohito.
You guys don't value
Joseph Stalin.
There we go. Who else are we naming?
Pol Pot.
The problem is, you red pill guys, you don't value marriage in the same way as I want. I will.
You
I
can't
will
see-
make divorce illegal. You guys think that's stupid.
No, I don't
No,
think
no,
that.
no,
Fix
no,
this.
no. Here's the problem.
No,
Yeah,
you're
here's my-
actually
okay,
really-
so here's
yeah.
my last question. I have a question for you.
It's in practice.
We were talking about this before. This last one here.
Okay.
We were talking about this before. We think you have the potential to grow as much as you want, right? I think you're funnier than everyone
If
else.
you move to Las Vegas.
You have,
Yeah,
you have
we're doing Las
incredible
Vegas.
potential. But the problem is, like, when we get to things like we're dealing with, I don't know, political fundraisers or trying to get bills passed or whatever, the most popular guy in the red pill calls everyone he disagrees with a homosexual and thinks the earth is flat. Do you see how then not only do you have the issue where you can't reach 100% of your
Wrong.
potential, but you don't think so?
Why? Let's say you guys, we all have the same momentum.
Mhm.
Why I will be 1,000 times bigger than anyone who has 50 million.
I totally agree that
I
you'd be bigger.
will, no, because as I grow older, I can't keep doing this. There will be a point where I jump ship, and I
29, dude.
right, but there will be a
I'm
point.
55,
But
dude.
You got
I-
time. You got time.
Bro, there will be a point where I become like an evangelical pastor for Catholics, and that's $100 million.
God.
So you're
You're gonna be a roosh.
Go full roosh.
You're gonna
So
go roosh.
Eventually, you all go.
You're gonna be
And
roosh.
remember, no corporation competes with those megaphone pastors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is the most money I'll ever make, and all that
Except for
money,
BlackRock.
all that money
Yeah.
I'll put into politics. And if I don't make divorce illegal in this lifetime, kill myself on. I'm kidding.
But,
Okay,
the
and
issue,
we're done.
but the issue is if you do that and you represent this whole space because you are bigger than everyone else. We're not saying you won't be bigger than everyone else. You understand that your views then take the entire thing with you. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. But if I went your way, the highest depression, suicide, anxiety we've ever seen as the purchasing
No, no,
power
no, no, no.
skyrocketed. Clearly, having a lot of is
No.
horrible.
I'm
You
not
know,
talking
he's
about
so-
the church way. I'm talking about everyone you disagree with as the F word. That's what I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
The abrasiveness part of it. Like
Oh,
you can
yeah, yeah,
still
that's-
you can still believe in Jesus, think that marriage is a good thing, understand red pill concepts, understand evolutionary psychology, and all these things, and still
But
not.
no. If you're even 10% tolerant, the window doesn't shift and you get killed. Look at Trump.
Okay.
I'm way less than Trump. If I was a billionaire, they'd have killed my ass. That window needs to shift for Zerka to breathe. I can't just chill out. You think
But
I'll
do you-
ever chill the
But
fuck out?
here's the question though. Like,
I'm
do you
gonna have
think
to move that window
you
before
think-
I grow old?
do
and
you
they
think
kill
there's a
me.
responsibility to your viewers to kind of tone down the content?
No, not to his viewers.
No. I'm just saying
not to his viewers.
to
your viewers.
Yes,
To your
that's what I'm
viewers.
asking. That's, what I'm
That's the
trying-
question.
That's what I'm questioning. Like,
Why?
because like, do you think that you could be not say misleading them, but like,
No, not misleading them,
but
but like
it's what I'm trying to get at.
When
Like, you
has
know,
the Bible ever misled someone?
no, it's not the Bible. We're not talking about
No,
the
no,
Bible
it's not
shit.
the Bible.
The Christian shit is totally
you
fine.
mean the abrasive?
Yes.
yes.
Do you understand? But you understand when you do that. Now, the New York Times articles is about all of us,
Mhm.
and we didn't
That's
call.
fine. It was about vasectomy, and I gave it to him. I
Yeah.
still defended him. So if you guys are gonna take
Yep.
turns cutting your off, it's my turn.
Yeah.
Let's cut it there.
Can't beat that. Okay, I got you. Cool. Anything else you guys are
And
talking?
I don't feel bad about hurting a bunch of millionaire good-looking.
No.
I really don't.
We're not worried. But like,
Us.